Hello guys, today I just kind of wanted to talk about the new Epic Pass, the Heroes Legacy Season pass that they've added to the game. Now, of course, there are a couple things or a couple, stipulations behind the pass, how to get EXP for it, or what the pass is going to be. But of course, as you can see, there's a special Epic Pass addition to this thing that increases or benefits the boost of the pass. And here are all of the rewards when it comes to the actual pass itself. And the question you're probably asking yourself, of course, is this worth it? Now, let's be absolutely clear. If you do need something from the pass, i.e. any of the charms or the reforged materials, I should say specifically when it comes to reforged materials, there is pretty much no argument. If you don't have access to a reforged material and you need it, there is definitely an argument to be made about, again, just purchasing the pack simply because you have access to reforged materials that you otherwise have no other way of getting outside of just being lucky that the expedition pass gives it to you, or I guess not having to roll for that pieces of gear or buying equipment packs. In any case, to be absolutely fair to the pack itself, in that sense, no matter what, this is kind of the equivalent of giving, an exclusive drop in a sense, just because, again, if you aren't able to reforge your Banshee materials because it's not on the Expedition Pass or anything like that, then how else are you going to upgrade your gear? And if you're pushing towards the end of the season, you get the picture. Long story short, the exclusivity or the fear of missing out behind some of the items in this pack are, of course, going to make the pack generally more appealing, especially if you're more annoyed at the fact that you can't reforge gear. But that being said, if you have no issues with finding reforged materials, or if you've not needed that many pieces that you can forge anyways, then, of course, the value of this pack goes down because, long story short, if you take a look at this, it kind of slots itself in as a glorified big charm pack alongside some reforged materials. Now, again, to be clear, what it says here is that although the normal premium pass gives you like a couple ranks or something like that, if you look at the special epic pass, it says that it unlocks premium and special rewards in addition to, again, giving you free season rewards. And again, a lot of people were kind of asking, well, what's in the Heroes Legacy special reward chest? What is it? And it, as it is right now, it reads that it is a level 88 Mana Stone selection chest, an 88 protection gear selection chest, and an 88 accessory selection chest. And again, you may be wondering, well, what are these? Like, what do they mean by 88 protection gear chest? And this is what we found out, guys. So this pack essentially, or this special chest, works essentially the same way that the equipment packs work, in a sense where you have the choice of selecting the set or the piece of gear or the, the specific armor piece that you want to receive from the pack. Now, in this case, you can choose between any of these pieces of gear: helmet, sword, chest, or boot, and then choose the exact set that you want. However, you aren't allowed to choose the substats or see what the substats of each piece is going to be before you begin into it. Now, the reason why this is, of course, kind of a double-edged sword is because they weren't specific on what exactly you could get as a substat, and of course, courtesy of one of the content creators, Rikazo, you may have seen him streaming, they opened up the pack, and as you can see here, it doesn't look good, guys. This is a speed set helmet that has 4 crit damage, 9% attack, and 8 defense, and so there's no guarantee for maximum rolls, there's no guarantee for what kind of rolls you'll get in general. So long story short, if you were thinking about buying the pack specifically for the 88s, it doesn't look too good. Now, of course, again, like I mentioned previously, the main appeal, in my opinion, of the pack is definitely going to come down to whether or not you value a lot of these reforged materials, the blue boxes, the conversion chests, or the, the charms if you're really desperate for it, alongside some other, niche materials like the leaves and such. But just based off of what we've seen from the pack itself, if you aren't in desperate need of substat modification gems, if you aren't in need of blue boxes, if you aren't desperate for something like leaves or any of the reforged materials, then this pack, long story short, is not really worth it for you. Now, again, to be clear, if you compare this to the Expedition Pass, which I will bring up here in a second. Apologies, I need to bring it up. Where's the Expedition? If I just switch tabs really quick. Okay, so if you take a look at the Expedition Pass, you can understand why, if you are someone that had already or chose to purchase Expedition Passes, why you may consider buying this new pass. However, the big caveat that kind of differentiates the Expedition Pass as opposed to the pass you just saw is that for things like Molagoras, things like, again, these boxes that allow you to choose modification, substat, selection chests, these are things that are specifically monthly gated or like longer time gated as opposed to something like charms or leaves or some of the other materials that you can get from the equipment pass that we just mentioned before for 2,500. And beyond all of this, this is a 1,500 Skystone pack, which feels a little bit worse, or it feels a little bit better in terms of overall value, because this is essentially trading 2 weeks worth of arena in exchange for this premium supply pass, which again not only gives you charms, which again so does the equipment pass give you, but it also gives you a lot of Molagoras as well. Now again, in terms of actual value though, this really shouldn't affect your decision making. It really again just comes down to whether or not you need more or less of these reforged materials, because again, even for the Expedition Pass, you're kind of asking yourself, or you're kind of in a position where you need to ask yourself, how valuable is being able to reforge gear right now as opposed to later? Are you going to miss out on something? Like if Rift comes out, are you going to be able to clear the content? Are you in desperate need of clearing or trying to hit at least Masters and RTA and you need these upgrades? Then in these sort of situations, then you could definitely argue that you would definitely find value in the Heroes Legacy Season Pass. That being said though, at least from what we've seen thus far, you still get a decent amount of the rewards, although you obviously don't receive all of or nearly as many of the reforged materials, just based off of what we've seen here. For the free rewards, again, you see a lot of just charms. None of them are actually specific to the reforged materials. So in terms of value or things that you might want to consider, if you just are looking at it for the charms, go ahead, just do the free, the free route. That's totally fine. You get charms, leaves, etc. Excuse me. But if you're looking to actually purchase the premium rewards, again, this is specifically if you are more PvP based or if you're trying to complete a build on a certain character, that is definitely what you're looking at. And then finally, if you're looking or considering the Heroes Legacy Season Pass, I would highly recommend you reconsider purchasing this pack, because again, although it is 88 gear, if you guys are familiar with what you can get out of, again, something like the monthly Nightmare Raid, if you get one of the pieces of gear that rolls really poorly, even though some of the Nightmare Raid pieces, again, are decently high rolled, just a bad combination of substats, and all of a sudden, there's no reason for you to continue rolling it at all. I can't even begin to to explain to you guys how many different pieces of gear that I get, specifically from Nightmare Raid, that are 88, but they just look absolutely unusable. The crit sword, I believe, comes to mind, and so does some of the chests that, again, just have super low rolls, or they're just not very useful. But long story short, guys, this was kind of just released at about 11 o'clock EST, so about like 20 minutes or so ago from when I am recording this. I just wanted to kind of give my initial thoughts on this because, again, I think people were kind of, concerned about if this is going to be super pay to win, if it's going to be good, or it's going to be bad. And long story short, I'm kind of leaning this on the bad side because I don't think most people need this as much. Again, it's a super RNG box. And again, a lot of these things are things that you can get just by waiting. But again, if you are a bit impatient, by all means, I could definitely see a reason for you to purchase the premium version of the pass, but not even, honestly, the Heroes Legacy section, because my goodness, that just like, you guys were complaining about the 88 free gear that we had for counter that rolls all into effectiveness. Wait till you roll Penta into flat HP or something on one of these pieces. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you again for everyone that watched. I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure to leave a comment letting me know what you learned. That'd be pretty cool. And again, make sure to like, comment, turn the notification bell, and subscribe. I'm going to be bouncing between doing content. I know a lot of the content I'm doing right now is AFK Journey, but also, again, I still do E7 stuff. I'm going to be covering a bunch of different content here and there. So I'd appreciate it if you guys support all the content. Hopefully you guys are interested in some of the gacha things I'm going to be covering. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.